In a world where love is often loud, curated, and ready for consumption, something smaller, softer, is unfolding. Not announced, not confirmed, but felt. The names Uyanda and Jojo, once separate entities in the whirlwind of Big Brother Mzansi, are now frequently seen in the same orbit. Not quite hand in hand, but close enough for people to notice. Not loud, but present. And across social platforms, whispers have begun. Not of scandal, of possibility. Because while nothing has been said officially, one thing is clear. These two are showing up for each other. And Mzansi can't look away. During their time in the house, they weren't an obvious pairing. There were no grand declarations of affection, no tightly edited love montages. They existed, sometimes in parallel, sometimes just beyond each other's periphery. But since the show ended, the air around them has shifted. They've been seen together, out in the world, not in a house designed for competition, but in reality. Sitting close at public events. Laughing in shared frames. Appearing comfortable in each other's energy. And that has sparked something in the hearts of those who watch them grow independently on screen. A growing hope that they may now be choosing each other quietly, gently, away from the noise. There's no statement, no captions confirming anything. But their recent closeness has sparked an emotional response far deeper than curiosity. Because what fans are sensing isn't performance, it's presence. And presence, when given consistently, becomes difficult to ignore. For many watching, it feels like they're witnessing something that can't be summed up in words or boxed into couple goals. It's not about matching outfits or public confessions. It's about two people who seem to genuinely like being around each other. And in an age where relationships are often built for the gram, that's deeply refreshing. Sometimes, it's not one grand gesture that tips people off. It's a series of small, quiet patterns. Like being spotted at the same events. Like interacting with the same circle even post-show. Like mirroring each other's energy without planning to. That's what's unfolding with Uyanda and Jojo. And fans, who followed every twist inside the house with intense emotional investment, are now seeing a quieter chapter take shape. A real life, what if, blooming in real time. They're not demanding confirmation. They're simply watching and feeling everything. Because this doesn't feel fabricated. It feels slow, intentional, possible. And that's enough to make hearts lean in. What touches people most isn't just the idea of a potential relationship. It's how this one is happening. With caution, with care, with none of the flashy, overexposed playbooks so many reality TV romances follow. It's like watching something take root instead of being planted for show. And in a time where emotional exhaustion is high, watching two people possibly find comfort, safety, and connection in each other is more than gossip. It's a balm. Both Uyanda and Jojo carried heavy emotional journeys in the house. They had moments of vulnerability, strength, and tension. And like many reality TV participants, they exited the show transformed, but also carrying emotional residue. Now, the way they've gravitated toward each other speaks volumes, even without a single word spoken. Because when healing souls find each other, something beautiful happens. It's the recognition in someone else's gaze. It's the comfort in quiet companionship. And if that's what they've discovered in one another, even if it remains undefined, it's no surprise that fans are overwhelmed with emotion. There's a kind of ache in ambiguity, but also magic. Fans aren't clamoring for a statement. They're soaking in every hint, every appearance, every shared laugh. They're not demanding answers. They're connecting dots with hope. And that's what makes this connection so poetic. It's the kind of story that invites people to feel instead of assume, to observe rather than interrogate. Because maybe what Uyanda and Jojo are showing us isn't a headline, it's a heartbeat. Subtle but real. This story has ripple effects beyond entertainment. It's emotional, cultural, symbolic. In a generation often jaded by transactional love and social media facades, watching two individuals quietly inch toward something genuine feels radical. It reminds young people, especially in South Africa, that love doesn't need to be a spectacle to be worthy. That softness, patience, and consistency are still valid currencies in connection. Their energy is reminding us that we're still allowed to hope for something real. Something that doesn't need explanation. Just feeling. In a world addicted to receipts, screenshots, and exclusive reveals, Uyanda and Jojo are doing something brave. They're existing. Together, sometimes. With no obligation to explain themselves. And that alone is enough to move people deeply. Because not everything beautiful needs to be documented. Not all love is meant for consumption. Sometimes, it's meant for the ones living it, and the lucky few who get to witness it from afar, in its unspoken grace. For those watching from the sidelines, this story isn't just about celebrities. It's about us. We see in them what we wish for ourselves. To be chosen without needing to shout. To be seen without having to shrink. To be cared for slowly, deliberately, without needing to post about it. Their story, whether platonic, romantic, or in between, is a mirror. And it reflects everything we still believe love can be. Sometimes, being seen together says more than statements ever could. Maybe they're just friends. Maybe they're more. But when two people consistently choose to be near each other, to share time, space, laughter, it begins to mean something. Not just to them. To everyone watching, quietly cheering. And that's what's happening now. Jojo and Uyanda are writing a story between moments. And we're all holding our breath, not because we demand answers, but because watching this play out is already beautiful enough. So what happens next? Maybe everything. Maybe nothing. Maybe we're on the brink of a love story we'll one day look back on as iconic. Or maybe we're witnessing the softest friendship ever nurtured under the public's gaze. Either way, it matters. Because it's touching hearts. It's allowing people to feel again. And in this world, that's a rare and radical gift. Jojo and Uyanda's connection, whatever it may be, is teaching us that love doesn't always need a name to be felt. That seeing and being seen, without expectations, can be more connected than 1,000 proclamations. That presence, over performance, is still the most romantic gesture of all. And that maybe, just maybe, some of the most beautiful relationships blossom not under lights, but in shadows. In the quiet. In the grace of shared stillness. In a culture obsessed with clarity, Jojo and Uyanda have become an emotional question mark. And oddly enough, it's comforting. Because their story doesn't demand we understand it. It invites us to feel it. To see love as something unfolding, not forced. To see connection as something grown, not grabbed. And if they are finding something with each other, they're doing it the way hearts were always meant to meet. Slowly. Respectfully. Authentically. That's why this matters. That's why fans care. Because in them, we see a version of love we haven't stopped believing in. Not loud, but real. Not official, but true. Not for us, but deeply felt by all of us anyway. Thank you for watching.